Welcome everyone to breathe. Welcome everyone to breathing techniques to relieve stress and improve health. My name is Paul Erickson. Like Kelly said, I'm with ComPsych, your employee assistance program provider. Just a few things as we get started here. We're going to be trying out some techniques, and I'll be interested in your comments on them. So, if you can try out your chat tool and just say hello, that way I'll know you can hear me, and I'll also know that I can see the chat tool. Oh, and I've got bunches of hellos coming in. You all are the best.
Hello.
Thank you for that. We're off to a strong start. I am much better off doing the chat tool than having uh, 39 people over audio. So I appreciate that. Um, this is a great webinar that goes over some basic but very practical techniques that I use myself. Now, that said, I will freely admit you might have heard some of this before, and that's absolutely okay because this is training, and training is about helping people to change their behavior in ways that are valuable for them. Now, behavioral change can be the outcome of me teaching you a new amazing fact about breathing that you've never heard before, some sort of new discovery, something like that. On the other hand, behavioral change can also be the outcome of encouragement, repetition, practice, commitment, recommitment, even to principles that you learned a long time ago that you already know very, very well, but just have never applied to your own life for any number of perfectly good reasons. Or maybe there's some techniques that you used to use, but that was years ago and those have been forgotten. Or maybe some of this is just common sense, right? And everyone should already know all of this already, which is great. Here's what I'll say about common sense from a personal perspective. It's one thing for me to have common sense, it's another thing entirely for me to use that common sense, because in my case, at least, common sense is sort of intuitive and spontaneous. Some encouragement, repetition, and practice can go a long way towards making those common sense techniques more of a deliberate, mindful choice and less something that occurs exclusively out of raw instinct. Finally, don't do any of this because I said so, but because it sounds like it might be worthwhile for you. So I'll tell you what, just so I can pay attention to these slides, I'm going to turn off my video. And oh, dang it. Let's see if I can do that successfully. There we go. I'm going to turn off my video and we are going to go ahead and get underway. So, breath work that we're going to be looking at in this webinar refers to deep diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, which can trigger relaxation responses in the body, according to a study published in 2017 in Frontiers of Psychology. Breath work encompasses a range of breathing exercises designed to enhance physical, spiritual, and mental health. Research shows a variety of quality of life improvements that intentional breathing can provide. Stress can compromise healthy breathing, but practicing breath work can reduce anxiety, encourage sleep, and in some cases, lower blood pressure. Participants in today's webinar are going to experience a variety of quick, easy breathing techniques during the course and share back their results if they'd like. This webinar is for anyone who wants to experience short, simple breathing exercises as potential ways to encourage personal calm and overall well being at no cost. And please note, this workshop does not present one unified system of mindful breathing for health. Rather, a variety of different approaches that you can try, focusing on the ones that are best for you. Breath work is safe for most people. By all means, talk with your doctor before starting any of these practices in earnest. If you have a medical condition such as asthma or a heart or lung concern, if during even just these very brief trials you feel any adverse effects, shortness of breath, um, stop the practice immediately. Lightheadedness, dizziness, nausea. Um, or if you find breathing is bringing up feelings of agitation, or if it triggers any mental or physical symptoms, stop the practice. While the potential benefits are promising, remember that to really get any benefit from these, we want to start practicing the ones that work for us on a regular basis. And of course, these breathing techniques are not a substitute for medical treatment. Always talk with your physician before beginning any breathing practice, especially if you have medical concerns or conditions. So, um, enough with the warnings. Probably at least some of you have done one sort of mindful breathing or another. From your experience, what are any benefits of doing mindful breathing? Use your chat tool and share back with me. What are any of the benefits of any mindful breathing that you have ever tried out? One person says calming, slows racing heart, absolutely. Lower heart rate, again, calmness helps me to relax. Yeah, I've tried a couple of these that can actually lower my blood pressure as much as 20 points. Relieves stress, resetting the sympathetic nervous system. We'll talk about that. Grounding brings me back into the present moment. Yeah, the mental practice of breathing mindfully rather than breathing unconsciously helps us to let go of worries about the future or regrets about the past. Helps focus, one person says, reduces anxiety, brings focus to myself again. Yeah, all of these are absolutely great. Thank you for sharing that. So let's see if there's any benefits that you didn't talk about. Reducing stress, sharpening memory can be one of them. Promoting more restful sleep, as well as aid in stress-related medical illnesses. Uh, a reduction in asthma symptoms, decreased hypertension in adults. You mentioned that can even aid glycemic control in people with type 2 diabetes. So we're going to try one technique, um, just sort of general mindful breathing. Chronic worry can be impacted by breathing deeply. It's a way we can reassert our new relationship with worry. So as we do this, and we'll get started in just a moment, but in general, you might want to just try exhaling audibly right now. If you want to yawn as a way of engaging the entire core as you do that, that can be good. Um, so exhale completely, take a deep breath in. And as we do this, imagine a balloon in your stomach expanding when you inhale and then contracting when you exhale. So um, and just place a hand on your abdomen to build some awareness of that. A lot of people uh, believe that there's a lot of shoulder action in breathing when really there isn't. The whole process comes from the diaphragm, uh, from your belly, just at the base of the rib cage. So as we take a deep breath, our abdomen expands out, our hand is pushed out, you pause, you exhale slowly. This sort of mindful breathing, rather than the normal unconscious breathing, takes our minds off of worry, provides calming respite. And after this respite, we can deal with our worries in a more effective way. It's hard to make effective changes in our lives if we're overwhelmed with dread. So we're going to try this practice. Um, so as you do this, sit up straight. Don't do anything else. Don't move. Um, don't multitask. Just focus on breathing. And it's only 60 seconds. So I think most of us are up for this. We'll be doing this exercise individually, and you will count each time you exhale. Um, you count up to 10 exhalations. For most people, that's about all you'll do in 60 seconds. If you get to more than 10, start the count over. With very deep breaths, you may only do 6 or 8 exhalations. And here's where it gets really interesting. As you're breathing, you want to focus mentally on the breathing and the counting. And if you're like me, you'll probably notice a phone ring or notice your stomach rumbling or start thinking about a meeting you've got this afternoon or remember something from this morning that made you laugh. So that's all fine. As we have these thoughts and sensations and feelings, don't follow them, don't fantasize or think about them, don't plan, but just let them go. They're like birds flying into the room and then flying out, and we notice the bird, but we're not going to wonder about them or try and figure them out or imagine what their backstory is. We're just letting them go. If you forget the count, return gently to 1. We're going to do this for 60 seconds. You'll be breathing independently, counting each exhalation on your own. I'll keep track of the time. So if everyone is ready, 60 seconds of deep breathing. Uh, count each exhalation. Don't follow your thoughts, just let the thoughts go. 60 seconds of deep breathing, ready, and begin. Thirty seconds remaining. And that's 30 seconds. So resume normal breathing and use your chat tool and tell me, how did that exercise go? Use your chat tool, share back any comments that you have on 60 seconds of mindful breathing. One person says felt more relaxed. That's excellent. One person says sort of want to take a nap. Yeah, you know what? The oxygen will do that. That's super normal. Um, One person 5 count and feeling a bit more energized. Yeah, and so if you only did 5 breaths, those are very deep breaths, and there's no keeping score on this. It's academically interesting. Um, I did relax more muscles in my neck, relaxed too. Yeah, that's excellent. Felt more grounded. Want to take a nap. Noticed myself. I noticed that halfway through, my mind started to wander to my personal life, but I exhaled louder and brought focus on the breathing again. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great point. And so these distractions, that's also very, very normal. And it's okay to have all these thoughts and feelings. The point is that we want to retain the ability to not multitask. Multitasking is highly valuable, but it also can compromise us in a lot of ways. And so every once in a while, it's useful to just be able to do one thing at a time, such as in this case, breathing for 60 seconds. Um, and not thinking about anything else. One person says 60 seconds seems like a long time. Oh, you have no idea. Yes, it can be an awfully long time, and that's fine. Um, that's normal in an exercise like this. So um, with those distractions that you mentioned, the more you do this, the better you'll get at managing the distractions. So it's good, providing the body with oxygen. It's good giving us ourselves mental respite from worries and regrets. And it's also a great way to learn to focus, to be mindful. Mindful breathing trains the brain to be more generally mindful, where we are observing our own thoughts and accepting them. We're not trying to keep them from happening. And then we're responding to them. In this case, you responded to those thoughts by choosing to let go of them and choosing to focus on breathing and counting your breath. And this sort of mindfulness can be useful in dealing with, in some cases, free floating anxiety. So thank you for trying that, and especially thank you for your comments back. Um, there's another technique we're going to try called box breathing. Box breathing is another effective method for overcoming stress and improving our body's responses to anxiety. There are four specific health benefits of box breathing. They are improvement of mental well-being. Um, Taking slow, mindful breaths reduces stress, can help people deal with depression even. Now, if you or someone in your life uh, is dealing with depression, box breathing will not fix that. You know, if someone that you know, including yourself, is dealing with depression, contact the Employee Assistance Program, consult your physician. Um, Box breathing might be part of a way of dealing with that, but it is not going to be the only answer. But yes, it absolutely can help. Box breathing also can heighten cognitive performance. It clears the mind, improves our focus and concentration, like a couple of you mentioned on just the mindful breathing. Deep rhythmic breathing can even help people with attention deficit disorder manage some impulsivity. Again, this is part of a solution. This is not one way of completely resolving that, but an integrated solution that you're working on might include box breathing. It also uh, helps to manage. I talked about impulsive behavior. It can also help us to deal with inflammation and stress. Um, so let's take a look. Oh, you know what? And one other thing that I wanted to mention. Um, it helps to deactivate the fight or flight response. So, one of you was mentioning the sympathetic nervous system. Um, the sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight, or in some cases, freeze mode. The body prepares itself for that um, by releasing adrenaline and cortisol. Cortisol dilates the pupils, mutes our pain perception. So it's part of a survival instinct. Um, and you know, you might react this way to physical danger, or just because of everyday aggravation. Things aren't the way that they should be. When the body enters this mode without being triggered, it's known as a panic attack. Deep breathing causes the body to enter the parasympathetic response. The parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and digest mode. That's where our body is calming down in stressful situations. So let's try box breathing. I'm going to go through the process, and then we'll try it. So we're going to breathe in completely, um, concentrating just on inhaling for a 4 count, and you'll be doing this 4 count on your own. So you breathe in for 4. You hold your breath for a slow 4 count. Try not to inhale or exhale. Then you'll breathe out completely for a 4 count, concentrating only on exhaling and counting to 4 as slowly as possible. And then you'll rest for a 4 count, not inhaling, not exhaling. So you breathe in for 4, hold your breath for 4, breathe out completely for 4, and then rest for a 4 count. And you'll be trying this 4 times on your own. And as you do this, and you'll be able to do this in 60 seconds. Um, I'll keep track of the 60 seconds, but you'll be doing the exercise independently. And then here again, I'll be asking for your comments back on how the exercise went. So if everyone is ready, we'll be doing 60 seconds of box breathing using the guide on screen there. Uh, I'll keep track of the time, but you'll be doing it independently. Independent box breathing, ready and begin. 30 seconds left. And that's 60 seconds. So how did the box breathing go? One person says box breathing makes you slow down. One person says, can we do box breathing while driving? How effective will it be? Um, it honestly, that depends on the drive. So, um, a lot of the time when we're driving, we don't need to be particularly mindful about things. We're aware of the traffic. We know where we're going. I don't know if I don't know if I would want to recommend mindfully engaging in something not driving while we're driving. So I would recommend not using mindful breathing when driving. I mean, you can do some sort of deep breathing. I'm but that would probably be fine. But the more mindfully you're engaged in something else, I think the more dangerous the driving might actually be. And if I'm trying, one thing I do when I'm driving to relax is I'll do muscle tension and relaxation in my neck. Like I'll scrunch my shoulders up, count 7, and then relax them for 20, scrunch my shoulders up for 7, relax them for again another 20. And that's helpful for me. Um, let's see. Got a lot of comments here. This is excellent. Um, Forces me to focus on my breathing. Yeah, absolutely. Impossible to think about anything else. Too focused on breathing. Fantastic. That's great. Calming. One person said, I think I was worried too much about the counting. Well, yeah, and so that's fair. This is very process driven, and so you get more comfortable with that. Um, One person says it was easier for me to concentrate because I was imagining a box. A couple people mentioning that. I drew the box and time out. One person says, let's see, slowed everything down. I love it. One person found it really challenging. 4-second hold is hard to count while doing it. Yeah, and so like I said at the onset, there are a number of techniques that we look at here. This is just one of them. Um, the holding breath thing is difficult for some people, and the accommodation that you can make on that is make the 4 count a little faster. That might be a way to go as well. Hard for me to take 4 seconds of inhale. Yeah, and this this deep breathing is unusual for a lot of people. The more we do it, the better we get at it. Exhale seems easier. Help me to forget everything that was going on. Love it. That's the idea. I'm really groggy now. I have too much work to do. Yeah, sorry about that. Um, for number 4, is the rest the same as the hold in number 2 in exhale? Yeah. So you're inhaling, holding the breath, exhaling, and holding the lack of breath. Um, and so again, if it's difficult, you just accelerate the count a little bit. Uh, Thank you, Kelly. It does get easier the more you practice. But that said, if you don't like this one, if you find another breathing technique that is more effective right out of the box for you, by all means, go with that. Um, yeah, a couple of people concerned about the challenge of that long inhale or the long exhale, or for that matter, you know, just the holding of the breath or the not breathing at all. So that said, um, this one I'm completely confident some of you will really dislike, but uh, but this can be highly useful as well. So if you want to try this one, great. if it doesn't sound like this is gonna work because of the time that's required, uh, I get that as well. But 478, I know some people that have gotten excellent results off of it. Um, so we're going to give it a whirl. It's developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, and it's based on ancient yogic techniques. And when we practice regularly, it's possible that this can help people to sleep better. Breathing techniques are designed to bring the body into a state of deep relaxation. You've noticed that. Um, Specific patterns that involve holding the breath allow the body to replenish its oxygen from the lungs outward. Techniques like 478 can give organs and tissues an oxygen boost. Relaxation practices also help to bring the body back into balance and help to regulate that fight or flight response that we talked about. And this is all particularly helpful if you are experiencing sleeplessness due to worries or anxiety about what happened during the day or what might happen tomorrow. All these swirling thoughts and concerns can keep us to being able to rest. The 478 technique, just like the box breathing, focuses the mind and body to regulate the breath rather than allowing the brain to just freely play over and over again those worries and regrets. This can soothe the racing heart, calm frazzled nerves. Dr. Weil described it as a natural tranquilizer for the nervous system. And with practice, this becomes more and more powerful. And for some of you, even that do a great job trying it out today, you might not get amazing results, but if you do this twice a day over the course of a couple of weeks, you may start noticing some of the things I just mentioned. So, like we've been doing, just make yourself comfortable, good posture. Sitting is perfectly good for this. Um, and you can do all of these in bed. I would recommend while you're doing a breathing technique in bed, be lying on your back just because it opens up the chest and the abdomen. Now, this is where it starts to get a little unusual. Prepare for the practice by resting the tip of your tongue against the roof of your mouth, right behind your top front teeth. And you'll need to keep your tongue in place there throughout the practice. And this is not easy to do, particularly as you exhale through your mouth. Exhaling during 478 breathing can be easier for some people if they purse their lips. So here's what you're going to do. Let your lips part and make a whooshing sound as you exhale completely through your mouth. Close your lips. Inhale silently through your nose as you count to 4 in your head. Hold the breath for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Which I'm talking while I'm doing this, but I was not able to do that on that try. And so again, for many of you, it might be completely impossible to have that tongue, the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth open as you exhale through the mouth. But I think try it a couple of times. Once you get it, it's not that difficult. But this is, again, all of this mindfulness on the process, which is admittedly a little difficult, guess what? Keeps us from worrying and regretting. So let's try it again together one more time, and then I'm going to invite you to try this on your own. So let your lips part, make a whooshing sound as you exhale completely. Close your lips, inhale silently through your nose as you count to 4. For 7 seconds, hold your breath. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. Exhale through your mouth. Okay. And again, I ran out of breath because I was talking. And I would like you to try this for 4 breaths. Again, it's kind of complicated, but give it a whirl. So if everyone is ready, I'll keep track of the time for 60 seconds. Try that 4, 7, 8. And again, the big challenge will be keeping the tongue against the roof of the mouth just behind the front teeth throughout the process, but see how it goes. So again, ready everyone? We'll do this for about 60 seconds and begin. Okay, normal breathing again, everyone. And how did that one go? Use your chat tool, share that one back. One person says, I like that one the most, which, wow, didn't see that coming. Great once I got the rhythm. Oh, this is wonderful. You all are making my day. The one person says, this is the breathing version of trying to pat your tummy while or patting your head while rubbing your belly at the same time. Well, fair enough. And I totally get that. Yeah, keeping the tongue on the roof of the mouth was challenging, but I did like the breathing. Found it hard to count to 8 while exhaling. I've got a lot of comments here. This is great. Not too bad. Loved it. Made me sleepy. Very good. A bit difficult. I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I would. Well, that's the spirit. I can't see myself doing it regularly. Yeah, you know what? So try these. Again, the box breathing is my go-to personally. Had a hard time getting into it, but I liked it once I got it. Yeah, again, I have a friend who swears by it. So when I mentioned box breathing, he said, "Oh, you should try 4-7-8." And it's like, well, okay, whatever. Great. So thank you for sticking with that one, even given some of the challenges. Um, and again, these breathing techniques shouldn't be practiced in a setting where we're not prepared to fully relax. It's not going to put you to sleep, but the deep relaxation may not be useful. For example, if I have to go right back to work, or um, if I'm driving. The one other one that we're actually going to try out is called alternate nostril breathing, and is not nearly as scary as you might think. It's another yogic breath control practice. Um, and this sometimes shows up in actual yoga or in meditation, but you can just do it as a one-off, which is what we're doing here. Um, and the benefits can include lower stress, better cardiovascular function, uh, improved lung function with respiratory endurance. In fact, there are um, competitive swimmers that practice with this to build up their respiratory endurance. Can lower the heart rate, promoting cardiovascular health. and it generally can promote well-being. Um, Positive effect on mental health by reducing stress and anxiety. And there was a study from the National Institute of Health, uh, and they found that this alternate nostril approach had a positive impact, reduced fatigue, stress, anxiety among cardiovascular disease patients. So we're going to give this a try. I invite you to sit comfortably with your legs crossed and place your left hand on your left knee. And we're just going to go through it and then we'll try it independently. Um, your left hand is on your left knee. Exhale completely. Then use the right thumb to close your right nostril and inhale through the left nostril. And then close your left nostril with your index finger so you literally are pinching your nose closed, and then open the right nostril and exhale through the right nostril. And the good news, if you hated counting on the other exercises, you're not counting on this one. And then inhale through the right nostril and then close it. Open the left nostril, exhale. And then you uh, inhale through the left nostril. Close it, open the right nostril, and exhale. Let's inhale on the right. Close your thumb down on your nostril. Exhale on the left. So you always want to be exhaling on the left side. So let's try this one. We're going to again do this one independently. 60 seconds. I'll keep track. And then, as always, let me know what you think. So, alternate nostril breathing exercise, working on your own for 60 seconds. Ready and begin. Thirty seconds left. And that's time. Resume normal breathing. How did that go? This is an extremely unusual exercise. A bit difficult, but I liked it. Uh, yeah, thank you. Thumbs up from one person. Uh, very good exercise from one person. One person says, "Why do you need to sit in a specific position with your left hand on your left knee?" You know what? I am not a yoga expert, so I don't know if that's some sort of alignment of chakras or what that might be. I think the idea is you just want to have one hand completely out of the picture, and you want to be doing all of the closing of nostrils just with the other hand. I think that's kind of the focus here. Let's see. One person says, difficult when you have a cold. Yeah, a number of people are mentioning colds and allergies. Yeah, so if you're dealing with any sort of congestion and you're getting it down to one nostril, that can be difficult. It's really hard for me because I can't breathe well on one side. Yeah, and so this one would clearly not be a good one for you. Um, One person says different. This is one method I've never heard of before. Made me a little lightheaded. Hard to get the air out of the nostrils. Help me focus. Um, Right side more difficult. Interesting. Feel like I need to blow my nose now. Yeah, feel free. I'm sure you're muted. Um, One person says good. Yeah, so you know, there's all sorts of approaches here. Uh, the recommendation is to get to a point where you can do this for 5 minutes. That seems really demanding. I have never done any breathing exercise for more than 2 minutes. That's usually more than enough for me. Um, and again, none of these are a substitute for medical treatment. And a physician. Let's see. Uh, you know, we're not actually going to do this, but I wanted to include one other technique. This is called tactical breathing. Navy SEALs use this. Um, they are in stressful situations on a routine basis. So with this one, um, the focus is on breathing upward from the abdomen. And then as you inhale, inhaling upward from the abdomen and exhaling downward from the chest. And, consistent with the other things that we looked at, this makes breathing a deliberate rather than an unconscious process, a mindful process. And that just helps us to avoid, all of the stressful thinking that we're doing while we're also oxygenating. So this is just one other possibility. So we have looked at the 60-second breathing meditation. We have had a chance to try that and box breathing, and we've had a chance to try 4-7-8 breathing. And finally, uh, we even had a chance to try the alternate nostril breathing as a final intentional breathing technique. Now, these are helpful with stress, but you may have stress in your life that is far beyond the scope of a breathing technique. Most breathing techniques are going to be helpful, but they, may not be the answer for everyone. A 45-minute webinar may not be everything that you need. So if you need a little more, you can go to guidanceresources.com to look at articles, web links, book reviews, self-assessment tools, checklists. The first time that you go there, you're going to be asked to register for the website. When you register for the website, you'll be asked to provide a web access ID code. Your web access ID code is FASAP. Let me see if I can put that in. FASAP. I'm putting this into the chat tool. That's the access code that you use the first time that you go to guidanceresources.com. You click the registration tab. Then you'll be asked to provide that code. Then you'll be asked to create a username and password specific to you. We've all done that. And then you can go to guidanceresources.com to look at articles, web links, book reviews, self-assessment tools, checklists on all sorts of topics, dealing with stress, breathing exercises, increasing your mindfulness. It's well worth taking a look at. And then two, if you would like to talk with someone, there's a phone number that you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The phone will always be answered by a person who has a background in psychology or social work, and they will be happy to help you with whatever your concern might be. I just shared it in the chat tool. It is 866-467-0467. You can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The phone will always be answered by a person who has a background in psychology or social work. They'll be happy to help you with whatever your concern might be. There's no reason to not use the resource. It's free, it's confidential. Anyone in your household can use it, your spouse, significant other, loved one, partner. We've used it in my household. We called on behalf of one of our children. Counselor was great. The process worked very smoothly indeed. So with that, I don't know if there are any questions. Let me open it up and toss it back to Kelly. Kelly?
Thank you, Paul. I just wanted to add a reminder that all NC State employees receive 3 free counseling sessions per year per condition. So let's say that, you have a death in the family, you can get 3 confidential sessions with that. And then maybe there's something else that comes up, you're dealing with, another difficult situation. You can receive 3 free counseling sessions for that as well. So I definitely encourage anyone who's struggling to take advantage of FAFSA in those counseling sessions. Just a quick note, I'm going to drop the survey in the chat for today's webinar. I thank you everyone for attending today.